Thank you for watching my part 2 of my D21 build. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about what I've done, like for example motor mounts and oil pan and how I, stuff like that. So what I want to show, alright, here it is. Here's the motor mount that I have ordered, and I got it in the mail. I have it in the description with the number and exactly where I got it from. You just look at the description on it. This is pretty much a universal motor mount for small block Chevy. You can put this on any hot rod, whatever you want to put it in. It looks kind of weird because I have it welded onto this plate right here. I'll show you in a second why I welded that onto the plate. But on this side it's perfectly normal. See, you can see the motor mount right there. And I cut that. That's actually cardboard. I made templates. I don't want to keep making these pieces of metal every time you make a mistake. And believe me, I already went through 5 of these because I kept making a mistake cutting it. Oh, I went down there. So what I did, I just put it in and kept cutting until I got it just where I need it. You know, like 1/8 of an inch at a time, and until I got it exactly where I need it. See, that's exactly where I want it. And I'm going to transfer that design over to the metal plate, cut it up, grind the whole frame up, and weld it right into the spot. This side was fine, but the other side, if anybody's going to be doing this kind of conversion, is that on the small block Chevy, the motor mount is kind of far forward. And what happens is you're gonna come into contact with this U-joint right here for the power steering. And for me to get around that, that's where this plate comes in. This is for a Chevy S10 V8 conversion deal. I welded the motor mount upside down because I wanted the motor mount to be a lot lower, away from the steering. If I could just get that sucker to go in there. Okay, there you go. See, so here it is where you normally will bolt it down onto the block, but you see the motor mount is a lot further back. And now I don't have any interference issues. It's underneath the steering link, the steering rod or steering system, whatever. That's why you might have to do that if you're doing the same thing I'm doing. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to transfer this over to the other ones, into these plates, and then I'm going to weld it on. The other thing I came across, because I still want to keep it, the suspension, I want to keep it stock just the way it is. This is the way I got the truck, nice and high, but I didn't want to lift the body off the frame. I took a 4-pound sledgehammer and I had to bash all the way around to clear the tranny. I don't think you can see it very well, but I did a lot of bashing all the way around the whole tunnel, and that way I was able to get the engine as level as possible. But I didn't want it perfectly level, because the rear end, when you use a degree, let me show you guys over here. This right here, I wanted to show you guys. It's a pitch and angle locator, and this I used it on the rear end of the truck. I put this right there where the Driveshaft goes. Oh, it's kind of dark. Crap, you can't really see it. Right where the Driveshaft goes, and it showed me the angle. And it was actually 5 degrees. It was just like that. Now when I put the motor in, the motor has a 3 degree. I think 2 or 3 degrees is fine. I'm sorry, on the back of the transmission. The back of the transmission, it had the same, a little bit less degree than the rear end. And that is kind of important because you don't want the engine block to be in the negatives compared to your rear or too much or too little, because then it causes a bind on your drive shaft, and that's where you get all that vibration and stuff like that, breaking U-joints. So you want your rear of your transmission, you want it to be about the same, a few degrees on and off compared to your rear end. And when you put your drive shaft in, you won't have any problems. It's all exaggerated, these angles. But when you put on your transmission, your drive shaft, you want your transmission U-joint to come, let's say 5 degrees or even straight. And even if it's at 0 degrees, let's say, and then you're going to have this drive shaft here. This one right here, you also want it to be at 0 on the pitch, and that way it doesn't bind your U-joint in any way or wear it out unevenly. But see, you don't want your drive shaft to be like this either. This is way too much of a pitch, you know, going this way and then going down this way. And it's just going to cause all kinds of vibration and all kinds of headaches. You're going to have all kinds of headaches when your drive shaft doesn't align properly. So whatever you do to this one, pretty much you want it to be the same. Anyway, and that's what I did with this engine. I put it at about 5 degrees. It's a little less, but like I said, 2 degrees ain't gonna hurt it any. And that's it for now. But anyway, I'll show more videos as I progress. Still gotta put the exhaust and a bunch of other stuff. Right now, let me finish with this motor mount, and I'll show you guys. Oh yeah, the other thing I forgot to mention is the oil pan. The oil pan came out of a Chevy 2 Nova. I painted it. It doesn't come painted. I just painted it myself. But you can see how it perfectly goes around the drive shaft, the front one. But the sump is going to be in the front, so this thing is not going to be a heavy rock hauler anymore, you know, going steep up hills, because then all that oil is going to go to the back and the sump is in the front now. You see? But, you know, the truck would be great for the snow or dirt, stuff like that. And we just won't be doing any rock falling. It's not a really good pan for rock falling if you're going to be going steep uphill. Downhill, you'll be fine. All the oil is going to go to the front. But this is a 7-quart oil pan. I hope I don't run out of oil. By everything going to the back, but we'll see. So I'm just showing you, man. This is the motor mount. It's mounted on there. See how it pushed back on it. And now I gotta try to figure it out. Is to put this motor mount in there. This way. I haven't decided yet which way I'm going to go with it. But that's where my cardboard is going to come into play. I'm going to take this cardboard. I have 2 of them, so I'm going to play with it. And just cut a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time until I get it in just right where I want it. Until I can stick the bolt in there and I can see that it's perfectly flush up against the frame, and I can weld onto it. Okay, there we go. Now, it took me about 15 minutes to do it, but here you can see my new template. I did like 1/8 of an inch at a time, and you know, until I finally got it to exactly where I want it. But you can see that I think that's pretty damn good. If I was to transition this to the metal plate, I think it'll be pretty decent. Now all I gotta do is sand the paint off all of it, and put this on the new mounts. Let's see when I get back. Okay, here I got the motor mount. It's completely finished. Yeah, it's got some spotty shots, but anyway, I hit it with a 4-pound hammer, and it held very tight. I hit it both ways, and it didn't come loose, so I know that's gonna be there for a long time. But that's the way I got this motor mount. Now I did come to realize after I did it, I shouldn't have gone so far back with this one like I have. I know I mentioned that I put it on here, you know, so I could put it further back and away from the steering. But I come to realize what I should have done was take that motor mount, flip it upside down. No, I did flip it upside down. Flip it upside down the way you see it right here, right now. But I could have actually moved it over to where the original position was. And I didn't do that. Kind of wish I did now. I wasn't thinking at the time, and I would have still avoided this whole steering deal here. Instead of being here, I could have moved it over here, and I probably would have had better selection with headers. Right now, I can't use a shorty because the shorty would just come down and hit it. So I kind of screwed myself on that deal. I mean, nobody's done this, nobody's showed any videos, so I'm learning as I go. And I just realized I made a mistake. I'm not going to cut it and redo anything, so I'm going to leave it just the way it is. I got to come up with a different kind of exhaust manifold, and I'm not sure exactly yet what I'm going to do or use. But just in case you guys do this, you'll know. All you have to do is flip this mount upside down, and then all you got to do is weld it onto another plate, or cut this deal and make a plate for yourself, and you know, just so you can move it right here behind the alternator, and that will give you more options for headers, how to get out of here. So now I got to work on that, on my mistake that I did. Now I got to work on that and see how I'm gonna fix it. But this is it for this video. This video was mostly about the motor mounts. A lot of people, when they build these hot rods and stuff, nobody ever shows how they do the motor mount. I just wanted to show you how I did mine. Now my next video is going to be the transmission. The transmission is going to have another motor mount that you got to custom make yourself. I kind of started the process here, but I'm not sure if I like what I'm doing now, so I might end up changing it again. But I'll show a video of me fixing the motor mount on this deal here. I'm using the stock motor mount from the Chevy Suburban that I took the motor out of. But I'll show that on my next video. Alright, see ya.